An invitation marked unwelcome shattered our Thanksgiving. Lita, 58. A retired nurse stood frozen, the Montana ranch's turkey scent mingling with icy betrayal. Clutching a worn family photo, shock gripped her. Why was she cast out? A secret threatens to tear them apart, but forgiveness could heal. Unlike revenge tales, this is about family bonds, reborn. Can truth mend their rift? Watch our emotional family story and share your own secrets in the comments. The Montana ranch looms under a November sky, snow dusting the rolling hills like powdered sugar on a forgotten cake. I stand at the gate, breath fogging in the crisp air, the scent of pine and roasted turkey drifting from the house. Golden light spills from the windows where laughter and clinking glasses weave a tapestry of warmth I'm not allowed to touch. Thanksgiving decorations, pumpkin wreaths, cornucopia, centerpieces adorn the porch, a cruel reminder of family gatherings I once cherished. My boots crunch on the gravel, each step heavier than the last, as I clutch my coat against the wind. The ranch, sprawling and weathered, holds memories of summers with Dad, Clara, and Walter before everything fractured. I reach into my pocket, fingers brushing the crumpled invitation I found in my mailbox yesterday. My heart stumbles as I unfold it, the words scrawled in Clara's sharp handwriting. Lita, we all agreed you're not welcome at Dad's 80th. Shock ripples through me, cold as the snowflakes settling on my scarf. I trace the words, hoping they'll morph into something kinder, but they don't. The paper trembles in my hands, a silent accusation. I've been a nurse for 30 years tending to others' pain, yet my own family cast me out like a stranger. The weight of caregiving, sleepless nights, endless hospital runs for Dad presses on my chest, unacknowledged, unseen. Why, Clara? I whisper, my voice swallowed by the wind. The house glows a beacon of belonging I'm denied. I imagine Dad inside his silver hair, catching the firelight, laughing with Beatrice, his second wife, who tried to bridge our gaps. Clara and Walter. My siblings must be there, united in their verdict against me. And Ruth, our cousin, always stirring the pot with her sharp tongue. I want to scream to demand answers, but my throat tightens with sadness, a familiar ache from years of unspoken grudges. I pull out an old family photo from my wallet, the edges worn from years of handling. It's us, Dad, Clara, Walter, and me, smiling at a 4th of July picnic, before Beatrice, before the arguments. My fingers linger on Dad's grin, and a memory surfaces, his calloused hands teaching me to fish his voice, promising we'd always stick together. Hope, fragile but stubborn, flickers in my chest. Maybe I can change this. Maybe I can walk through that door and reclaim my place. What did I do to deserve this, I think, staring at the photo. The argument with Dad years ago over Beatrice, over his choices, haunts me. I was harsh, but so was he. Clara and Walter took his side, and Ruth fanned the flames. I've tried to make amends, haven't I? The caregiving, the calls, the sacrifices, they should count for something. Yet here I am on the outside, the cold seeping into my bones. I take a step toward the house, heart pounding. The invitation feels like a dare, a challenge to prove I belong. I could knock demand to be let in, face their judgment head on. My hand hesitates, hovering over the gate's latch. The laughter inside grows louder, a melody I long to join. I close my eyes, picturing Dad's face when he sees me. Will he smile or turn away? You're stronger than this, Lita, I tell myself. I've faced worse patients slipping away nights alone with my thoughts. I can face my family. The photo in my hand feels like a talisman urging me forward. I slip it back into my wallet, resolve hardening. I'll crash this party not with anger, but with truth. They can't erase me that easily. The wind howls, carrying the scent of pie from the kitchen. I imagine the table set with Mom's old china, the kind we used for Thanksgiving when she was alive. The cultural weight of the holiday gratitude togetherness stings a reminder of what I'm fighting for. I reflect on the bonds that once held us frayed, but not broken. Family is worth the fight, isn't it? Even if it hurts, even if I fail, I have to try. I grip the gate, ready to push it open. The cliffhanger looms. Will I walk through that door, or will they shut me out again? The Montana ranch kitchen glows a hearth of warmth against the November chill. Snowflakes tap the windows, framing a scene straight from a Thanksgiving postcard, a long oak table laden with potluck dishes, creamy mashed potatoes, green bean casserole, and a golden turkey, its aroma curling through the air. Lanterns cast soft shadows on the log walls, adorned with woven tapestries from local artisans, a nod to Montana's communal spirit. The clatter of forks and bursts of laughter spill out, each sound a dagger to my heart as I crouch in the shadows of the porch, hidden by a stack of firewood. My breath fogs, mingling with the scent of pine and pie as I peer through the frost-etched glass. Inside, Clara arranges plates, her auburn hair catching the light. Walter passed the gravy, she calls, her voice sharp but warm. Walter, broad-shouldered and graying, chuckles, handing over a ceramic boat. Dad George sits at the head, his weathered hands folded, a faint smile on his lips. Beatrice, his second wife, fusses with a laptop, muttering about Zoom. "Why won't this thing work?" she grumbles, her silver curls bouncing as she jabs the screen. Ruth, our cousin, smirks from her seat, sipping wine. "Technology's not for everyone, Bea," she says, her tone dripping with condescension. The family laughs, a melody I'm excluded from. I shift my knees, aching against the cold porch boards. "Not good enough," a voice whispers in my mind, the same one that's haunted me since Clara's invitation barred me. I've never been enough for them, not since I challenged Dad's remarriage, not since I poured my life into caregiving while they moved on. My hands tremble, not from the cold, but from the weight of feeling unworthy, a wound that festers as I watch their ease. The caregiving stress, those endless nights checking Dad's meds, driving him to chemo, feels like a secret they'll never acknowledge. "Beatrice, you're hopeless," Clara teases, leaning over to adjust the laptop. The screen flickers and a distant cousin's face appears, grinning. "Happy birthday, George," the cousin says, voice tinny through the speakers. Beatrice claps, delighted, but the connection falters and she groans. "This Zoom nonsense, why can't we just call?" she mutters. Walter laughs, patting her shoulder. "You're doing fine, Bea. Keep trying." I feel a pang of compassion for Beatrice, struggling with technology like so many of us over 55. Her effort a mirror to my own battles with hospital apps for Dad's care. Why am I here? I think, my breath catching. I could spare myself the pain of their rejection. But something holds me, maybe the memory of Mom's potlucks where we'd all pitch in laughing over spilled cranberry sauce. That connection, frayed but not gone, pulls me closer to the window. I imagine stepping inside, saying, "I'm here, Dad. I never stopped caring." Would they listen or turn away? Dialogue, I tell myself, is the only way through this. I need to talk to make them see me. I edge closer, the porch creaking under my boots. My heart races as I glimpse Dad's eyes, tired but bright, scanning the room. Does he miss me? I clutch the family photo in my pocket, its edges worn from years of longing. The silent scene unfolds before me, their laughter, their ease, my exclusion. It's a tableau of everything I've lost, yet it sparks a resolve to fight for my place. I reflect on the family connection that once defined us, the potlucks and promises we made to stick together. Compassion stirs for Beatrice's struggle, for Dad's quiet strength, even for Clara's guarded heart. A twig snaps under my foot, and Ruth's head turns toward the window. My pulse spikes. Did she see me? I duck lower, the cold biting my fingers. The cliffhanger hangs heavy. Will they spot me before I'm ready to face them? The Montana Ranch kitchen hums with warmth, the glow of lanterns casting long shadows across the oak table. A towering birthday cake, frosted white with "Happy 80th George" in blue icing, sits as the centerpiece, its candles unlit, a symbol of celebration I'm about to disrupt. The air is thick with the scent of roasted turkey and apple pie, mingling with the faint tang of wood smoke from the fireplace. Thanksgiving garlands, dried leaves, and miniature pumpkins drape the walls, a nod to Montana's rural traditions. I stand at the threshold, heart hammering the cold November air at my back as I push open the door. The creak of hinges silences the room, and all eyes turn to me. Lita Clara's voice cuts through, sharp as a knife. She stands by the table, a serving spoon frozen in her hand, her auburn hair pulled tight in a bun. Walter beside her narrows his eyes, his fork clattering to his plate. Dad George sits at the head, his silver hair catching the light, his expression unreadable. Beatrice, fiddling with the Zoom laptop, gasps softly. Ruth. Our cousin leans back, a smirk playing on her lips. The family photo in my pocket feels like a lifeline, a reminder of who we were before this rift. What are you doing here? Clara demands, stepping forward. You weren't invited. I'm family. I say, my voice steadier than I feel. I belong here. Clara scoffs, her face flushing. You lost that right when you turned on Dad. You think you can just waltz in? Anger flares in my chest, hot and raw. Turned on him, I cared for him. Clara, hospital runs meds nights. You were nowhere near. Where were you? She bristles, slamming the spoon down. Don't play the martyr. You argued with Dad, disrespected Beatrice? You're the one who broke us? That's not true, I snap, stepping closer. The room feels smaller, the air heavy with unspoken grudges. Walter stands, his voice low. Lita, you're making a scene. Leave. No, I say, my hands shaking. I'm done being erased. I cared for Dad when he was sick, when you two were too busy. You owe me the truth. Why am I out? Ruth chuckles, sipping her wine. Oh, this is rich. Keep going, Lita. Dig your own grave. Enough, Beatrice says, her voice gentle but firm. She closes the laptop, her silver curls trembling. Let's talk, not shout. I clutch the photo in my pocket, its edges grounding me. Honesty, I think. That's what we need. The caregiving stress, those endless days of worry of being Dad's nurse while Clara and Walter drifted burns in my throat. I want to scream it to make them see, but Clara's glare. Walter's crossed arms, Ruth's smirk. They're a wall I can't break alone. Why can't they see me? I think my chest tight. The memory of Dad's chemo days floods back me, holding his hand, him whispering thanks. Did that mean nothing? The anger mixes with grief, a storm I can't contain. I look at Dad, his eyes fixed on the cake, distant. Say something. I plead silently. Clara, you wrote that invitation. I say, voice cracking. Why? Tell me what I did? She hesitates, then snaps. You know why. You never apologized for tearing into Dad about Beatrice. You're selfish, Lita. That's a lie, I shout, my voice echoing. The room stills the weight of my words hanging. I pull out the photo, holding it up. This is us. We were family. I'm still here, fighting for it. Dad's eyes flicker to the photo, a shadow crossing his face. My heart leaps. Does he care? The cliffhanger looms. Will he speak? Or let this spiral? I reflect on reconciliation, the faint hope that truth can mend us. The birthday cake untouched mocks our division. I want to believe we can light those candles together, but Clara's glare tells me the fight's just begun. The Montana ranch kitchen pulses with tension, the firelight flickering across the log walls, casting jagged shadows that mirror our fractured family. The birthday cake, still unlit, looms on the oak table, its blue icing smudged from the chaos. Thanksgiving garlands sag above their dried leaves, curling like the hope I brought through the door. The air is heavy with the scent of cooling turkey and burnt coffee, the warmth of the fireplace now stifling. I stand in the center of the room, the family photo in my hand, its worn edges trembling as Clara's words echo. You're selfish, Lita. You don't get to rewrite history. Clara shouts, her face red, stepping closer. Her auburn hair escapes its bun, wild as her anger. You hurt Dad, disrespected Beatrice, and now you want pity. Pity? I fire back, shock coursing through me. I cared for Dad, chemo doctor visits nights. You never showed up for. You call that selfish? Walter slams his hand on the table, the plates rattling. Enough, Lita. You always play the victim. You argued with Dad, drove a wedge between us. Own it. The accusations hit like punches, each one stealing my breath. I look to Dad George, hoping for a word, but he stares at the fire, his silver hair glowing, his hands clenched. Beatrice beside him wrings her napkin, her silver curls trembling. Ruth leans back, her smirk sharper than ever. This is better than cable, she mutters, swirling her wine. Stop it. I yell, my voice cracking. I'm not the villain here. Clara, you wrote that invitation. Walter, you backed her. Why? What did I do that's so unforgivable? Clara laughs bitter. You questioned Dad's marriage, acted like Beatrice was the enemy. You broke his heart, Lita. A flashback sears through me 5 years ago. Dad's living room, the air thick with tension. I'd confronted him about Beatrice, my voice sharp. "She's not Mom, Dad. How could you move on so fast?" His eyes had dimmed hurt, and I'd stormed out, leaving silence. I'd meant to protect him, but I'd wounded him instead. The memory stings a reminder of my own mistakes. Back in the kitchen, I shake my head. I was wrong then. Okay, but I've tried to make it right. I cared for Dad every appointment, every pill. "You ignored that, Clara. You're lying to yourself," Walter snaps. "You did it for guilt, not love." The words cut deep, and I stagger back the photo, slipping to the floor. Caregiving stress. The silent burden I carried feels mocked. Those nights adjusting Dad's oxygen, checking his vitals. Did they think I did it for show? Shock gives way to a raw, aching need for them to see me. "Beatrice, please," I say, turning to her. "You saw me at the hospital. Tell them." Beatrice hesitates, her eyes soft but wary. "Lita, you were there, yes, but you were so angry even then. It scared us." Her words are a betrayal, soft but sharp. The room spins, the firelight blurring. Ruth chuckles, her voice low. "Told you, Lita. You're your own worst enemy. What's she hiding?" I think, catching Ruth's glance at Dad, a flicker of something unspoken. The family secret. Whatever it is, hovers like smoke, and Ruth's smirk fuels my suspicion. My mind races. Is she protecting Dad or twisting the knife enough? Beatrice stands, her voice cutting through. "This isn't helping. We're family. Let's sit talk, not tear each other apart." Her call for mediation is a lifeline, but Clara's glare and Walter's crossed arms tell me it's fragile. Compassion, I think, clinging to Beatrice's words. "I want to hate them, Clara. Walter, even Ruth. But I see Clara's trembling hands, Walter's tight jaw. They're hurting too, aren't they?" I reflect on forgiveness, the possibility of healing if we can just speak the truth. The firelight dances, a reminder of warmth we could reclaim. The cliffhanger hangs. What's Ruth hiding, and will we ever sit down to talk? The Montana Ranch kitchen feels softer now, the firelight gentling the edges of our anger. Snow falls steadily outside, blanketing the hills in quiet, as if urging us to pause. The oak table, still cluttered with potluck dishes, holds a fresh apple pie, its cinnamon scent weaving through the air, a Thanksgiving staple that tugs at memories of Mom's laughter. The birthday cake, unlit, sits forgotten, overshadowed by the weight of our words. I stand near the door, my coat damp from the porch, the family photo tucked back in my pocket. The fireplace crackles, casting warmth across the log walls, where Thanksgiving garlands cling their leaves, a reminder of fleeting unity. Beatrice, her silver curls catching the light, sets the Zoom laptop aside, its screen dark. "Let's sit," she says, her voice steady but tired. "We're family. We can do this." Clara, her auburn hair loose now, hesitates, then nods, pulling out a chair. Walter follows, his broad shoulders slumping as he sinks into his seat. Dad, George, looks up, his weathered hands resting on the table, his eyes meeting mine for the first time. Ruth, smirking less, sips her wine, watching like a hawk. I take a chair, heart pounding, hope flickering like the flames. "We need to talk," I say, my voice quieter than before. No more shouting, just truth. Clara's jaw tightens, but she doesn't argue. "Fine, but you start, Lita." "Why are you here?" I swallow the caregiving stress, those endless nights with Dad's meds. The hospital waits, pressing on me. I'm here because I love Dad. I cared for him, Clara, when he was sick. You and Walter weren't there. I don't want praise, but I want you to see me. Walter shifts, his voice gruff. "We saw you, Lita, but you were always so angry. It pushed us away." His words sting, but there's truth in them. I nod, meeting Clara's eyes. For a moment, we share a glance, not of anger, but of something softer, regret maybe. It's a silent scene, our eyes speaking what words can't. We've both lost something. Hope blooms, fragile but real, that we might find our way back. Beatrice clears her throat, her hands fumbling with the laptop again. "Let me try this Zoom one more time," she says, chuckling nervously. "Maybe our cousins can join the talk." The screen flickers and she groans as it freezes. "Oh, this thing," Walter laughs, a low rumble. "B, you're gonna break it." Even Clara smiles, and the tension eases the tech struggle, a light moment that feels like family, like us before the rift. Can we do this, I think? My fingers brushing the photo in my pocket. The memory of Mom's Thanksgiving pies, her voice calling us to the table, floods back. We were a family then bound by love, not grudges. I want that again, and this talk feels like a step. My monologue deepens. I've carried Dad's care alone, but maybe they didn't know. Maybe they'll listen now. The weight of caregiving, the loneliness of it lingers, but hope overshadows it. Lita, Dad says suddenly, his voice raspy. You were there for me. I know that. His words are a balm, and tears prick my eyes. I want to hug him, but Ruth's sharp glance stops me. There's something in her eyes, a secret, a shadow. What's she not saying? I wonder, the family secret subplot simmering beneath our truce. Let's keep going. Beatrice urges, her warmth anchoring us. We'll talk, all of us. She slices the pie, passing plates the act, a quiet promise of unity. The cultural detail of the pie, its flaky crust and warm filling, grounds us in Montana's traditions and family. I reflect on reconciliation, the possibility that this table, this talk, could mend us. The firelight dances, and I imagine us whole again, laughing over pie like we used to. But the cliffhanger looms. Will this talk resolve our pain or unravel us further? The Montana Ranch kitchen trembles under the weight of a brewing snowstorm, its howl rattling the windows as if echoing the storm inside. Firelight dances across the oak table where the apple pie sits half-eaten, its cinnamon warmth lost to the chill of our words. The birthday cake, still unlit, mocks our stalled celebration. Thanksgiving garlands droop their leaves, curling in the heat of the fireplace, a faint wood smoke scent mingling with cooling coffee. I sit at the table, the family photo in my pocket, a heavy anchor, my heart racing from our fragile truce. The snow outside thickens, blanketing the hills, isolating us in this moment of truth. Clara's eyes, red from strain, flicker toward me, then away. Walter shifts in his chair, his broad frame tense. Dad, George, grips his coffee mug, his silver hair glowing, his gaze distant. Beatrice, her silver curls damp with nervous sweat, folds her hands, her Zoom laptop forgotten. Ruth, our cousin, leans back, her wineglass tilted, her smirk ablaze in the firelight. I can't shake the shadow in her glance, the hint of a secret she's guarding. She's the key, I think, my resolve hardening. Ruth, I say, my voice steady despite the knot in my chest. You've been too quiet. What's your part in this? Why am I the outcast? She raises an eyebrow, swirling her wine. Me? I'm just enjoying the show, Lita. No, I press, leaning forward. You've been stirring this pot. That invitation, Clara wrote it. But you pushed, didn't you? Clara frowns, glancing at Ruth. What's she talking about? Ruth's smirk falters, and shock ripples through me as I see her mask crack. I pull the family photo from my pocket, holding it up, its faded smiles, a silent plea. This is us, Ruth. Family. But you've been tearing us apart. Tell the truth. The room stills, the snowstorm's roar, the only sound. Ruth sets her glass down, her eyes narrowing. You want truth, fine. I told Clara and Walter you neglected Dad, that you were too busy playing nurse to care about his birthday. I said you didn't deserve to be here. The words hit like a slap, and gasps ripple around the table. Clara's jaw drops. You what? Why, I demand, my voice shaking. I cared for Dad, every hospital visit, every sleepless night. Why lie? Ruth's face hardens, but her voice softens, a dual-layered twist unfolding. Because you were always the favorite, Lita. Dad's golden child, the nurse, the saint. I was sick of it. And I thought it'd protect him. He didn't need your anger again. Protect him. The caregiving stress, those nights, adjusting Dad's oxygen, the weight of his frailty surges in my memory. Protect him from me. I was there when you weren't, Ruth. You lied to hurt me. She shrugs, but her eyes glint with guilt. Maybe both. I'm not sorry. Walter slams his fist on the table. Ruth, you manipulated us. We trusted you. Beatrice's voice cuts through, soft but firm. This stops now. Dialogue, not lies. Ruth, you owe Lita the truth, all of it. I clutch the photo, its symbolic weight grounding me. Honesty, I think, can heal this. The caregiving burden my silent sacrifice demands to be seen. They need to know my monologue runs. I wasn't perfect. But I love Dad. Ruth's lie stole that from me. The snowstorm outside mirrors my turmoil, a cultural detail tying us to Montana's raw isolation. Dad's eyes meet mine pained. Lita. I didn't know, he whispers. My heart lurches. Does he believe me? Clara's silence. Walter's clenched jaw. Beatrice's nod. They're listening, but Ruth's calm defiance lingers. I reflect on truth's power to heal the hope that this confrontation might mend us. The firelight flickers a beacon of possibility. But the cliffhanger looms. Why did Ruth really lie, and what else is she hiding? The Montana ranch kitchen dims the fireplace glow, casting a fragile warmth across the oak table, now littered with pie crumbs and coffee stains. The snowstorm rages outside its howl, a distant echo of the turmoil within me. The birthday cake unlit slumps under the weight of our fractured evening, while Thanksgiving garlands hang limp, their leaves curling in the heat. The air carries a faint scent of burnt wood and cooling turkey, a reminder of the feast we've barely touched. I sit, hands trembling, the family photo in my pocket, a silent ache. Ruth's lie that I neglected Dad still burns, and the silence from Clara and Walter feels like a second betrayal. I look at Dad George, his silver hair haloed by the firelight, his eyes fixed on his mug. He said he knew I cared, but his silence now cuts deeper. Clara stares at the table, her auburn hair shielding her face. Walter's jaw is tight, his arms crossed. Ruth sips her wine, her smirk gone, but her presence a thorn. Beatrice, her silver curls damp, watches me with soft eyes, the only anchor in this storm. I've been here, I say, my voice breaking for Dad, for all of you. Hospital runs meds nights alone. And you believed Ruth's lie that I didn't care? Tears spill, and the weight of abandonment crashes over me, a tidal wave of sadness. You left me out like I was nothing, like I'm not family. The word abandoned echoes in my mind, a trigger that rips open years of loneliness. Caregiving stress. Those endless days of Dad's chemo, the fear of losing him pours out. I was his nurse, his daughter, but never enough for them. The room blurs, the firelight swimming through my tears. A flashback grips me 2 years ago, a sterile hospital room, Dad's hand frail in mine. You're my rock, Lita, he'd whispered, his voice weak from treatment. I'd stayed through the night alone, while Clara and Walter sent texts, never visits. I'd felt invisible then, and now it's the same. The memory fuels my pain, a raw wound exposed. Lita, Beatrice says softly, rising. She moves to my side, her hand warm on my shoulder. I saw you with George. You never gave up. I'm sorry we didn't see it sooner. Her voice, gentle and sure, sparks empathy, a lifeline through my despair. She kneels, her eyes meeting mine. You're not alone now. Her compassion pierces the fog, and I sob, the weight of years spilling out. Clara shifts, her face softening, but she stays silent. Walter looks away, his hands unclenching. Ruth's gaze flickers to Dad, and I catch it, a hint of the family secret, something about Dad she's guarding. What's wrong with him? I think, my heart lurching. They don't know me, my monologue runs. I carried Dad's pain, but they saw anger, not love. Can I keep fighting? Beatrice's touch grounds me, urging self-focus. I wipe my tears, breathing deep. I can't change them, but I can hold my truth. Beatrice. Thank you, I whisper, my voice hoarse. But I need more than sorry. I need them to care. Dad coughs, a sharp rattling sound that silences the room. He grips the table, his face pale, and Beatrice rushes to him. George, are you okay? She asks, her voice tight. He waves her off, but his eyes are weary, shadowed. The cliffhanger looms. Is Dad okay, or is something worse coming? The fireplace glow, a cultural touch of Montana's hearth, wraps us in its fleeting warmth. I reflect on empathy, how Beatrice's kindness binds us even now. If we can feel for each other, maybe we can heal. But Dad's cough. Ruth's glance and the silence from Clara and Walter keep me on edge. The Montana ranch kitchen feels hollow, the fireplace's glow fading as the snowstorm softens outside. The oak table, strewn with pie crusts and coffee mugs, bears the scars of our fractured night. The birthday cake, its candles still unlit, slumps beside wilting Thanksgiving garlands, their dried leaves whispering of better days. The air is heavy with wood smoke and the faint sweetness of apple pie, but the warmth can't touch the chill in my heart. I sit, hands folded, the family photo in my pocket, a quiet weight. Dad's cough lingers in my mind, a warning I can't shake. Clara stares at her hands. Walter shifts uncomfortably, and Ruth's silence is louder than her usual barbs. Beatrice, her silver curls, still watches Dad George with worry. I close my eyes, and a flashback pulls me under, 5 years ago. Dad's living room, autumn leaves swirling outside the window in a Montana sunset. The room smelled of coffee and old books. Dad's favorite armchair creaking as he leaned forward, his silver hair catching the light. I'd come to talk, but anger had spilled out. Beatrice isn't Mom. I'd said, my voice sharp. You're replacing her, Dad. How could you? His face had crumpled, hurt, deepening the lines around his eyes. Lita. I'm not replacing anyone. I'm trying to live. I'd stormed out, the crunch of leaves under my boots echoing my regret. I'd meant to protect Mom's memory, but I'd wounded him instead. Back in the kitchen, I opened my eyes, regret flooding me. That argument drove the wedge, and my caregiving, endless hospital runs adjusting Dad's meds couldn't bridge it. The stress of those years, the loneliness of being his nurse while Clara and Walter drifted presses on me. I was wrong, I think, my monologue heavy. I pushed him away and they followed. Can I forgive myself for that? Lita, Beatrice says, her voice gentle, pulling me back. You're quiet. What's on your mind? I hesitate, the photo's weight urging me on. I'm thinking about Dad, I say, voice low. About how I hurt him. I argued about you, Beatrice. I was angry, scared. I'm sorry. She nods, her eyes kind. I know, Lita. It hurt, but I saw you try to make it right. You cared for George. Clara looks up, her auburn hair framing a softer face. You never said sorry before, she murmurs. Why now? Because I want us back, I say, tears pricking. I cared for Dad chemo nights alone, but I messed up too. I need to own that. Walter sighs, rubbing his neck. We all messed up, Lita. We believed Ruth's lie, but you were always so hard to reach. Their words sting, but there's truth in them. Self-focus. I think breathing deep. I can't change their choices, but I can face mine. The caregiving stress, my silent burden, needs no applause, just acknowledgement. I glance at Dad, his hands trembling slightly, and Ruth's quick look at him reignites my suspicion. What's the family secret? I wonder, the subplot simmering. Dad speaks, his voice raspy. Lita. I should have talked to you back then. I didn't know how. His admission is a crack in the wall, and my heart aches with possibility. The autumn leaves of that memory, a cultural detail of Montana's fleeting seasons, ground me in our shared past. I reflect on forgiveness, how freeing it could be for Dad, for myself, for us all. The firelight dims, but hope flickers. The cliffhanger looms. Can I forgive myself and Dad, or will the past hold us hostage? The Montana ranch kitchen holds its breath. The fireplace's fading glow casting long shadows across the oak table. Snow dusts the windows, the storms howl now, a whisper, as if the world waits for what comes next. The birthday cake, its frosting smudged, sits beside crumpled Thanksgiving garlands, their leaves brittle in the heat. The air is thick with wood smoke, and the faint tang of coffee, the pie's sweetness gone stale. I sit, the family photo in my pocket, a quiet anchor, my heart still raw from regret. Dad George coughs again, a ragged sound that tightens my chest. Clara's eyes, red-rimmed, dart to him. Walter's hands clench, Beatrice's silver curls tremble, and Ruth's silence feels heavier than ever. Dad clears his throat, his voice low, raspy. There's something I need to say. He looks at me, then the others, his silver hair catching the firelight. I've been sick, not just the cancer from before. It's back worse. I didn't tell you. To spare you. Shock slams into me, a cold wave that steals my breath. Cancer again. The room erupts in gasps. Clara's hand flies to her mouth. Walter's chair scrapes back, and Beatrice's eyes well up. Ruth looks away, her wineglass still as if she knew. The family secret hinted at in her glances unfurls a dual-layered twist: Dad's illness and his choice to shield us from pain. Why Dad? I choke out, tears burning. I was there for you chemo hospitals. Why hide this? He sighs, his hands trembling. You were so strong, Lita, but I saw it wear you down. I didn't want you or Clara Walter to carry more. I thought I could handle it. Clara's voice breaks. Dad, you should have told us. We're your family. Walter stands pacing. You let us fight, thinking it was just Lita's fault. That's not right. Beatrice reaches for Dad's hand, her voice soft. George, we could have helped. Together. The caregiving stress I carried those nights, checking Dad's vitals, the fear of losing him surges now, layered with empathy for his choice. He was protecting us, I think my monologue heavy. But it hurt us more. Honesty could have saved us this pain. I pull the photo from my pocket. Its faded smiles, a symbol of the family we might still save. I set it on the table, my fingers lingering. Dad, I say, voice steadying, you didn't spare us. You left me alone thinking I wasn't enough. We need the truth, all of it. He nods, eyes glistening. I'm sorry, Lita. I was wrong. Ruth shifts her voice low. I knew George. I told you to keep it quiet. Her admission stings, tying her lie to Dad's secret. Clara glares at her, but I raise a hand, urging dialogue. No more secrets, I say. We talk. We heal. Beatrice starts a Thanksgiving prayer, her voice trembling. For truth, for family, we give thanks. The cultural detail grounds us, a Montana tradition that binds us in hope. The family joins voices uneven, but earnest, a fragile step toward unity. Can we do this? I think. Staring at the photo, the weight of Dad's illness, the caregiving ahead looms, but his honesty sparks possibility. I reflect on truth's power to unite, how this confession could mend us. The firelight flickers, a beacon of hope. The cliffhanger looms. Will we unite to face Dad's illness or fracture under its weight? The Montana ranch kitchen breathes with fragile hope, the fireplace's embers casting a faint glow across the oak table. The snowstorm has eased, revealing a starlit sky through the frost-etched windows, a Montana hallmark that feels like a promise. The birthday cake, its candles unlit, sits beside scattered pie plates. The Thanksgiving garlands, now a quiet reminder of unity we're grasping for. The air holds traces of wood smoke and coffee, the warmth a stark contrast to the tension simmering among us. I sit the family photo in my pocket, a steadying force, Dad's illness weighing heavy after his confession. Clara's auburn hair curtains her face. Walter's hands fidget. Beatrice's silver curls are still, and Ruth's silence is a shadow. Dad George sits at the head, his silver hair dim, his eyes searching. We need to talk, all of us. I say, my voice firm despite the knot in my chest. No more lies, no more secrets, let's lay it all bare. Clara nods, her voice soft. Okay, Lita, you first. I take a breath. The caregiving stress, those years of hospital runs, sleepless nights with Dad's meds spilling out. I cared for Dad through his cancer. Chemo, oxygen tanks, emergencies. I did it alone, Clara Walter. You didn't see, and Ruth lied to make you think I didn't care. I'm not asking for medals, but for truth. I was there. Walter leans forward, his voice gruff. We didn't know Lita. Ruth fed us stories, and we believed her. I'm sorry. Clara's eyes well up. I should have asked you. I just thought you were angry, distant. Their apologies, raw and real, hook my heart, an emotional pull that stirs hope. I was angry, I admit, but not at you, not always. I was scared of losing Dad, of failing him. My voice cracks, tension rising as I face Ruth. You twisted that, Ruth. Why? Ruth shrugs, her wineglass empty. I told you. I was jealous, and I thought Dad needed peace. I was wrong. Dad speaks, his voice raspy. Lita, you carried too much. I should have told you about the cancer's return. I'm sorry. The dialogue flows, each word a step toward positive justice. Beatrice smiles, her hands steady. This is family talking, healing. Let's keep going. She fiddles with the Zoom laptop, a tech struggle that breaks the tension. Maybe our cousins can hear this, she says, chuckling as the screen flickers on. Walter grins. B, you're a tech wizard now. The light moment, a nod to seniors' tech woes, eases us. but my heart stays heavy. They're listening, my monologue runs. I've carried this alone, but now they see. Can I trust this? The caregiving stress, my silent burden feels lighter shared at last. I glance at the stars outside their clarity, a cultural detail of Montana's vastness grounding me in this moment. Clara reaches across the table, her hand brushing mine. Lita, stay. We need you. Her words spark hope, but doubt lingers. Can I stay after all this? I think the weight of years pulling me both ways. I reflect on justice, how truth has begun to heal us. The embers glow a faint promise of warmth. The cliffhanger looms. Will I stay with them, or walk away from the pain? The Montana ranch exhales into dawn, the sunrise painting the snow-dusted hills in soft pinks and golds, a quiet promise after the storm. I stand on the porch alone, the crisp November air biting my cheeks. The kitchen behind me is silent, its fireplace embers cold, the oak table still strewn with pie plates, and the unlit birthday cake. Thanksgiving garlands hang limp, their leaves a faint echo of the night's turmoil. The scent of wood smoke lingers, mingling with the fresh snow's clean bite, a cultural detail of Montana's raw beauty grounding me. The family photo in my pocket feels heavy, its smiles a mirror to the rift I've helped widen. I lean against the railing, my breath fogging the weight of Dad's illness and our roundtable talk pressing on me. Clara's hand brushing mine. Walter's apology, Dad's confession, they've shifted something. But doubt gnaws. Can we heal? I think the cliffhanger looming. The caregiving stress years of hospital runs, sleepless nights with Dad's meds feels like an unacknowledged sacrifice, a trigger that stings as I face the truth. I've been angry not just at them, but at myself. A silent scene unfolds. The sunrise creeps over the hills, bathing the ranch in light, and I close my eyes, letting it wash over me. What have I done? My monologue begins. I cared for Dad, but I held grudges too. My resentment pushed them away. The twist hits, dual-layered, my anger fueled our rift, and only now do I see it clearly. Guilt floods me, but hope flickers. Self-awareness is a start. I recall the argument with Dad, my harsh words about Beatrice, the way I shut Clara and Walter out. I wasn't just hurt. I think I was bitter. The caregiving, my silent burden, became a shield, a way to prove my worth while hiding my pain. I open my eyes, the sunrise brighter now, and whisper, I'm sorry, Dad. I'm sorry, everyone. Footsteps creak behind me, and Beatrice steps out. Her silver curls catching the dawn. Couldn't sleep, she asks, her voice warm. I shake my head, voice low. Beatrice, I've been wrong. I resented Dad, you Clara Walter. My anger broke us as much as Ruth's lie. I didn't see it till now. She nods, her eyes kind. That takes strength, Lita. Admitting it's the first step. Strength. I laugh, bitter. I feel weak. I carried Dad's care, but I let resentment poison me. How do I fix that? By forgiving yourself, she says, touching my arm. We all carry hurts. You're resilient, you've shown it before. Her words spark hope, a fragile flame. Resilience. I think the lesson taking root. I've survived caregiving's toll, Dad's cancer, this rift. I can grow from this, self-focus. I resolve breathing deep. I can't change the past, but I can choose now. Clara appears at the door, her auburn hair loose. Lita, you're up early, she says, hesitant. We're making coffee. Want some? I meet her eyes, seeing her own exhaustion, her own pain. Yeah, I say, a small smile forming. I'd like that. The caregiving subplot lingers, my sacrifices once unseen, now acknowledged in Clara's gesture. The sunrise, a Montana dawn, wraps us in its quiet promise. I reflect on resilience, how facing my flaws has freed me to hope. The family waits inside, and I wonder if we can heal together. The Montana ranch kitchen hums with warmth, the oak table transformed into a Thanksgiving feast under the soft glow of lanterns. A golden turkey carved and steaming sits beside heaping bowls of mashed potatoes, cranberry sauce, and green beans, the scents weaving a tapestry of comfort. Fresh Thanksgiving garlands, pine cones, and crimson leaves adorn the walls, a nod to Montana's harvest traditions. The birthday cake finely lit with candles flickers beside a stack of old photos, their edges worn from love. Outside, the November sunrise lingers its golden hues, fading into a crisp blue sky. I sit among my family, the photo from my pocket now on the table, its smiles echoing the hope in my heart. Clara passes the gravy, her auburn hair loose, a rare smile softening her face. "Lita, you're hogging the potatoes," she teases, and I laugh, the sound foreign but welcome. Walter, his broad shoulders relaxed, chuckles spooning cranberries. Dad, George, sits at the head, his silver hair bright, his cough quieter today. Beatrice, her silver curls bouncing, adjusts the Zoom laptop its screen alive with cousins joining from afar. Ruth, subdued, offers a tentative nod, her role in our rift not forgotten, but set aside for now. The family secret, Dad's illness, hangs gently, a shared truth we'll face together. "Remember this," Walter says, holding up a photo of us as kids splashing in a Montana creek. "Lita, you pushed me in. You deserved it," I retort, grinning. Laughter ripples, a melody of joy that heals. I touch the photo from my pocket now, among the others, its symbolic weight anchoring our reunion. "We're here!" My monologue runs. After lies resentment and pain, we're family again. The caregiving stress, those years of hospital runs of carrying Dad's care alone, feels lighter shared now in our laughter. "George, make a wish," Beatrice says, gesturing to the cake. Dad closes his eyes, then blows out the candles, the room erupting in cheers. The Zoom cousins clap, their voices tinny but warm. Beatrice beams, her tech struggle a triumph, a light subplot that binds us. To family, Dad says, raising a glass, his voice steady despite his illness. To truth and starting over. To family, we echo, glasses clinking. Clara's hand finds mine under the table, a quiet gesture of reconciliation. We've made it, I think, hope blooming. The caregiving, my unacknowledged sacrifice, is seen now woven into our renewed bonds. "Let's keep these photos out," I say, spreading them across the table. "They remind us who we are." Clara nods. "And who we can be." Her words spark a vision of future Thanksgivings, of facing Dad's illness together. The cultural detail of the feast, its warmth, its abundance, grounds us in Montana's heart and family. I reflect on family bonds, how they've endured Lai's illness, and my own resentment. They're stronger than I knew. I think the lesson clear. Reconciliation, born of dialogue and truth, has brought us here. The firelight fades, but our laughter carries a promise of endurance. As we clear plates, I look at the Zoom screen at the table, at Dad's smile. "Share your story." I say, a call to action for us all. Let's keep talking. Keep healing. As we hug around the Thanksgiving table, candlelight flickering, hope warms me. Forgiveness healed our rifts, and resilience carried us through pain. Dialogue rebuilt our family bonds, compassion guiding every word. Like caregiving's quiet sacrifices, love finds a way when we listen. In every family, truth and empathy mend what's broken. Share your story. Let's keep healing together.